Welcome to your Daily Writing Habit, episode number 216. If you are writing a book or thinking about it or trying to finish a book that you've started and are having some trouble finishing, you are in the right place. Good morning. I'm your host, Christine Whitmarsh, also known as Christine Inc., I-N-K, if you're looking me up online. Each day I'm sharing with you the writing habits I've learned over my 18 years as a ghostwriter, book coach, and author. I have learned that three things in particular have a huge impact on your success as an author, and they have the ability to turn a quote-unquote non-author into a published author. Those three things are writing fundamentals, productivity, and mindset habits. Here's today's quote. Passion is energy. Feel the power that comes from focusing on what excites you. Oprah Winfrey. Well, if you're listening to this live, happy Writer Wednesday. And today I'm going to tell a story. I call it a once upon a time a little girl became a writer. And it's the story of how I became a writer and how that initial fire is still blazing as hot as ever today, almost 40 years later since I first remember starting to write. It's pretty cool. So from the moment I could talk and from the moment I knew what books were, as my mother tells me, my most frequently used phrase was, Mama, read to me. She said just all the time, Mama, read to me. Like driving in a car, we took a lot of road trips. We were like the original Griswold family, taking road trips down to visit my grandparents in Florida. And it was, Mama, read to me, Mama, read to me, Mama, read to me. That was like the one phrase that I knew, apparently. I had an insatiable thirst for words, apparently starting around 3 or 4 years old. So for several years, I drank in all the words. Stories and books were my world. I remember the library being my favorite place in the whole world, going to story time. So my first recollection of writing my own words came around the age of 7, so around the 3rd grade. For Halloween, my classmates and I were each given a piece of composition-lined paper with the shape of a bat in the center. But the composition lines, extended outside of the bat to the paper's edges. So can you guess whether I kept my story safely confined within the image of the bat in the center of the page, or if I colored outside the lines? Yeah, okay. I wrote on every available inch of that paper, including the back. I found every inch of white space. I covered it with a story. So a writer was born, and once I realized I could do that I could make up stories in my head and write them down. I mean, how cool is that? At 7 years old, you realize that you can do that? That's so cool. So, all the stories my mother had been reading to me all those years, and I'd been reading myself, now I could do that myself. I was unstoppable. Other kids would be playing outside. I'd be in the basement writing story after story after story after story on yellow legal pads. I'd be writing them for myself, but I'd also give them as gifts to family members for the holidays. So, for instance, my sister would get my grandmother a robe and slippers for Christmas, and I would give my grandmother short stories that I wrote. This passion for writing, kind of a calling, one might even say, it had its twists and turns over the years. It led me through school newspaper, at one point leaving me wondering if maybe I should follow in my father's footsteps as a journalist. Then it led me out to Hollywood and screenwriting, followed by business copywriting and book ghostwriting, starting my own agency. It all started with that initial spark, though. That initial spark at age 7 years old, being given a blank sheet of paper and told to write a story. That moment, that realization that I could do that and I loved doing it, has helped me overcome the challenges and obstacles over the years, especially throughout my professional career as a writer for other people. So what's your spark story? When did you realize you liked or loved or were even curious about writing? Or for many of you, maybe your spark story is in its early chapters now, and you're just realizing it via this single book idea that, wow, writing, this is really cool. I can do this. This is fun. This is awesome. Either way, I want to hear about it. I want to hear your spark story. Please, please, please come visit me in my Inc. Authors group, Inc. Authors on Facebook, also LinkedIn. So just whatever social network you prefer, Inc. Authors exists on Facebook and LinkedIn. And please share your spark story. When did you realize that you loved writing? I can't wait to hear about it. Thank you for joining me here on your Daily Writing Habit, where I'm helping you write and finish writing an awesome book. And if you know someone else who wants to write an awesome book, please let them know about your daily writing habit. Wherever they listen to podcasts, they can listen to this show. Thank you, and until tomorrow, Happy writing.